Power usually announces itself. This story didn't. It began on a night shift. In a hospital hallway. With a nurse no one was watching. One quiet decision. One moment of care. And somehow, it reached places power usually lives. Stay until the end. Because this isn't about who mattered most. It's about why. At 3 in the morning, hospitals sound different. Footsteps soften, monitors hum, and the city outside forgets that people are still fighting to stay alive inside. This is the hour when work is done without witnesses. Mara Valdez knew this hour well. For over a decade, she worked the night shift in a regional hospital far from her hometown. Nights paid more, and nights asked fewer questions. She arrived before dawn and left after sunrise, carrying exhaustion like a second uniform. Her coworkers trusted her because she was consistent, precise, and calm when others were not. Reliability became her reputation, invisibility its cost. Her locker held family photos and folded letters from home. Her phone held reminders of school fees and grocery lists sent across time zones. Success, to her, meant stability, not recognition. One evening, a patient arrived without a name on the door. His chart was sealed, his visitors limited, his instructions clear: provide standard care, ask nothing, document everything. No explanations followed. He appeared ordinary at first glance. Middle-aged, tense, eyes dulled by fatigue rather than age. Power does not always announce itself when the body begins to fail. Mara treated him as she treated every patient. She checked medications twice, adjusted equipment quietly, and spoke in a tone meant to steady nerves rather than impress authority. Professionalism was her only language. Pain kept him awake that night. When the ward grew still, she remained longer than required, listening without interruption. She spoke of nothing grand, only of routine and patience. He asked why she chose nights. She answered honestly, explaining distance, responsibility, and the long arithmetic of sacrifice. There was no complaint in her voice, only fact. Near morning, the situation changed. Readings shifted, alarms followed, and urgency replaced routine. Decisions needed speed, not debate. Mara moved without hesitation. Her voice stayed even, her hands steady, her judgment clear. Training and instinct aligned in seconds that would later be discussed for hours. By sunrise, the danger had passed. The room settled, and breathing slowed into rhythm. The patient opened his eyes, aware that something irreversible had been avoided. He thanked her quietly. She responded the way she always did, saying she was only doing her job. To her, excellence required no ceremony. Days later, he was discharged without attention. No announcements followed, no visible consequences marked the encounter. The ward returned to its usual pace. Weeks became months. Mara's life changed in no visible way. Shifts continued, money was sent home, and fatigue remained familiar. Then a message arrived from hospital administration. A formal request, unusual in tone and sealed in language rarely used for staff. Her name stood alone on the page. She was being summoned, not disciplined. Travel arrangements had been made, security assigned, details withheld. The reason was not explained. At the airport, a small aircraft waited where commercial flights never stopped. Her name appeared on a sign held by someone who addressed her with careful respect. Confusion replaced fear. The destination revealed the truth. The patient was a national leader who had entered the hospital under concealment. In vulnerability, he had been just another body at risk. When they met again, there was no display of hierarchy. He placed a hand over his chest and thanked her in front of witnesses. Gratitude, this time, was intentional. He spoke of dignity offered without condition, of care given without recognition, of trust earned in silence. What followed was not a reward, but acknowledgement. Support for her family, investment in healthcare training, and resources directed to understaffed hospitals like the one she served. He asked her to do one thing in return: to teach others what she practiced naturally: attentiveness, restraint, and respect. Compassion as a professional standard. Mara accepted, not as an exception, but as a representative. She redirected attention toward nurses who worked unseen, whose decisions shaped outcomes without applause. Programs were established quietly. Supplies arrived where shortages had been normalized. Scholarships opened doors previously closed by distance and cost. Mara returned to work. She did not wear new titles or uniforms. What changed was not her role, but the reach of her influence. The story surfaced gradually. Online discussions questioned motives, timing, and optics. But the facts remained simple and difficult to dismiss. Care had been given without expectation. Power had responded with humility. The exchange disrupted assumptions about who matters and when. This story is not about jets or leaders. It is about the quiet infrastructure of human effort that keeps systems alive through routine and restraint. When recognition finally arrives, it rarely feels like victory. It feels like visibility. And sometimes, being seen is the most powerful outcome of all.